Alright, starting off with a decent hand. We've got Quarry, Sparkcatcher, and Vara's Favor. And we have the endgame Gearcruncher. Granite Waystone in our opener is always like, oh, it's too bad, because we just don't get the value off of it. It's really nice to net an extra Grenadin, but the very, very small complaint about a very good hand. Looks like we're probably against Argenport, and I think that we're good against Argenport for the most part. This deck is pretty resilient to board wipes. They don't even run that many, and a lot of the time they're going to add, like, it's going to be Tavrods and things like that we can just chump block for days. So I'm kind of okay with that. I think we'll Sparkcatcher instead of Quarry first. I mean, we'll see. If they're not Argenport, there's something like, they could be Justice, Shadow, Primal Control, which is a thing that I've been seeing a lot more often. Ooh. It's too bad that we lose the Combust, but I think we need the Cell. Cell is just too good at getting us up to Gearcruncher. Or honestly, even just a Dizo. Like, we can Dizo next turn now.
My favorite part.
Yeah, I'm gonna attack here. If they block, I can Vara's Favor it. Huh. Alright.
Touch of Shadow.
That was nice of them. And we'll pass. We can actually Gearcruncher already, but it's not super valuable. I mean, we're just gonna get 2 units.
My favorite part.
Would you like to do it again? This opponent is not learning this lesson, huh?
The touch of Shadow.
Very impressive. Thank you. Oh, goodness. Alright. Oh, sweet. Although I hope they don't use a second Annihilate. Okay, good. Actually, that is a problem. I suppose we could Gearcruncher. Ugh. It's not really what I want to do. We're just going to be getting 4 Grenadin. Yeah, I'm still going to do it. It gives us so much, like, gas for these Dizos. I think it makes sense. Alright. Sabotage. Ain't got nothing. Now we can attack. Unfortunately, we don't have another power, so we have to sacrifice 2 things to get this going on. But, this should be good. Unblockable 4/6 is a pretty good threat right now, too. Plus, I do like this extortion scheme.
When I threaten you, you'll know it.
When I threaten you, you'll know it. I think that they'll know it.
Send a message.
Sure.
This is the last offer you're gonna get.
Ooh, baby. Well, they're gonna have to let us draw 3 next turn. Could wait and hold up the Devour. I think that's better. There's not really a reason to have a second Combustion Cell. It's the one problem with having 4 of them, is that you really don't need or want multiples. But you also need to have them early. Like, it's really, really bad not to have them. Alright.
This is the last offer you're gonna get.
Give me some cards. Aw, I didn't get what they Warcried onto. I thought that would have been really funny. I guess I could Sparkcatcher. See what we're drawing. Another Sparkcatcher. I'm gonna bottom that. No valid cards. Well. I was thinking that their way out of this was they had removal for Dizo, which is why they were still playing, but I guess not. Man, Dizo was fun. That was good. Drawing 3 cards off the top of their deck is always an interesting thing to do. Let's go for game 2. Okay, this hand is interesting. I think that I keep it. If we find any early Grenadins at all, it becomes pretty awesome because we can sacrifice them into the Scraptank. The big problem is if we don't get a Grenadin. But I mean, we have 4 Spar Catchers, 4 Assembly Lines, and 4 Grenadin drones that'll all work. So that seems reasonable. Plus, we could also just draw 2 power for Scraptank. Worse that way, but, you know. Second Madness is either good or really, really awkward here, depending on what our opponent is playing. If they're playing, like, Ikaria Blue or something, it could be a problem. Looks like that's what's happening. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Well...
They cannot
Sower
break our
of
spirit.
Descent. I'm just gonna take that and sacrifice it, because I don't want to deal with it. I'm worried they play a Valkyrie and then I just look really silly while this has Warcry 2. Plus, reducing the cost can be super scary.
They cannot break our spirit.
Another Sower. I could play Scraptank. It might be worthwhile to then immediately sacrifice the Grenadin so that I get it out of torch range. Even though it's a, like, no value sacrifice, essentially. Like, I'm not gonna use the power. Interesting to note, though, you keep the power through your opponent's turn. So sometimes if you have something like Devour, you can do that and then just hold something up. Alright. Play around torch, get vanquished. Fine. What do you do? I can Gearcruncher this turn. I don't think I want to do it, though. This should generally be a pretty key piece of their deck, so I don't mind just taking it. If they're playing with Sower of Descent, it feels like it's going to be a lot of what they're trying to do. The card has some very specific things on it, and I think disrupting that is good. If I get a power, I can Kaleb next turn. And that is good. It's going to be so much damage.
Halt!
Sure. Silence does not matter. Another Combustion cell. I mean, we could Gearcruncher, but there's not really much point in doing that. I can sacrifice them both now and get 6. That being said, I can also wait. If I get a power, I can sacrifice both of them, play this, and use the 3 exhaust to kill something. I think I'm going to do that. It is a little worrisome if they decide to kill one of our Grenadin, because then we don't have enough sacrifices to get there. Being a little risky. Just a little bit risky. Cool. Ooh, give their Valkyrie Aegis. Alright, alright. Keep it alive. I see ya. That being said, I mean, we're gonna Kaleb this turn, that's just gonna be a ton. Starsteel was pretty good for them. Getting rid of 2 things is actually great right now. They don't even realize how good it is. Alright, Kaleb.
Rebels are aiming high.
Do your work.
Let's not let them down.
Hope that it's good stuff. No justice sigils. That we can bottom. Not bad. I've definitely had better. Oh, they're dead. I've definitely had better, he says as he kills his opponent. Yeah, Kaleb's good. Kaleb does some stuff in this deck. So the reason why I was laughing that last game, thinking that the Kaleb wasn't that good, is because a lot of the times, like, a good Kaleb will make something absolutely monstrous in that deck, because you can get Headsman's Axe or Staff of the Archmagister, which count the number of spells or units in your void and give them plus X equal to the number of things. That's insane. You can get like 25-25 Grenadin really easily. We wouldn't have that game, but it would have been really, really large. Things like Rock Carapace are also really good. I'm going to keep this. This is a very, very risky keep because we have to draw a unit. But if we draw a unit, we get so much gas. Like, we have so much to do with it. The problem is, things like Gearcrunchers are not the units that I need. I need all the early game units is what I was kind of talking about, obviously. Yep. Could be awkward. I threw myself into this problem, though. This was an on-the-fence kind of keep, and I would not blame you for throwing this back. So, I might be wrong of having kept it.
Here it is.
This is the Ombre aggro deck that I've really, really liked playing as far as competitiveness. This is a deck made by Tin Man. I featured it last week on my free-to-play account. Because I'm doing a series where I run through the game without spending any money, and we've already made this in less than a month.
The strongest weapon
pretty
is
sick.
the spirit.
Yeah, okay. Well, can't always get lucky. Actually, I suppose if I draw an assembly line, I can actually still get there. It'll take some doing, but I can do it. This is one of the best draws I've seen out of that deck for a while. Oh, ooh. Good draws from us, too. Yeah, I was subpar. Could have thrown it back. It is the risk with this deck that you can draw the wrong half of your deck. So you can draw like all of your expensive things and none of your early game and combustion cells. Or you can draw like all combustion cells and not really any units. Like there are some draws like that it does have those problems. I think it was correct to keep it though, because the things that do smooth out your draws are the Devours and the Quarries. So if you have double Devour, a lot of the times you can expect, Granite Drone, Sparkcatcher Assembly Line. Even just the Granite Waystones are often enough. But, what do you do? Something, you know what? I'm going to make a change actually right now in the middle of this. I forgot about this. I took an old list and forgot to change this. Amethyst Waystone is okay, but we actually have Vara's Favors. We ran out of sigils that one game. We don't need 4 Waystones. So I'm okay going down Waystones and up Shadow Sigils just to make it a little bit easier. And to make our seats better too, because it means the seats come into play undepleted more often. Alright, game 4. If we draw power, this hand is fine. But we have to draw a fair number of power in a row. I'm going to redraw this. Here we go. Like, if that assembly line or, like, a scrapper had been a Quarry or a Devour, that hand would be great. This hand is good, though. Let's go Crest of Chaos. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I think that I can bottom it, because we do have Vara's Favor, we do have Quarry, we've got the Combustion Cell. We should have enough ways to get power online. And this is the Justice Primal Shadow Control. I've seen this deck cropping up a lot. I don't know how to feel about it. I haven't been super impressed with it. Grenadin Drone or the Gearcruncher. Considering I already have 2 Gearcrunchers, it's probably Drone. That always feels bad, though, because Gearcruncher is just an unbelievable card in this deck. It's super nutty. it's definitely the glue that holds it together. If you didn't have Gearcruncher, this would be half the deck it is. It lets you recover from some really insane board wipes. It's a lot of your endgame. It's removal. It's everything. It's an incredible package. It's like the only reason to run Combustion Cell. The only reason to run Kaleb. It really changes the deck if you do not have Gearcruncher. It's just Combustion Cell, attack. Decent shape here. We're not super annoyed about them Vara's favoring this. Smart of them not to kill this one, though. A lot of people will kill the Grenadin drone because it has text on it, but the text is actually actively bad for it to be the one that you know, kill or return to hand, because they might be able to get it again. This deck, for example, for quite a while was running Shadowlands Guide to get back Grenadin drones. It's still actually a reasonable card to put in the deck. So we have a Gearcruncher next turn, but it's not for a lot. It's only going to be for 4. Oh, no, it's only going to be for 3. Oh. Oh. Now it would be for a lot more, although we need to find another Grenadin, and we just did. Cool. We're also only 1 power away from not even worrying about the Combustion Cell. This will make us 6. Yeah, we're okay with doing this. I imagine that they harsh rule us, but we do have another Gearcruncher waiting. Wisdom of the Elders? Annihilate? Considering that they're reading this, it looks like Annihilate. Celestial Omen. Oh, okay. Huh. I haven't seen an Omen in this list in a while. Maybe they have it and I just haven't seen enough of the deck. Lightning Storm? Oh, wow, okay. I'm going old school with some of this. Lightning Storm Extract. Huh. And they kept the card on top. That's terrifying. Alright. Seed of Chaos, pass. So let's see what they kept on top. Or if it's just more removal. I guess it's more removal. Interesting. I'd expect our opponent to try and do something against this eventually, because you can't realistically run only removal and hope to get there, because eventually you're going to run out of card draw, you're going to run out of things to do. Okay.
Unleash the storm.
Fair enough. I mean, maybe not. You might also just draw really, really well, but if you're just going to 1-for-1 removal, generally that's not going to end up well for you. That is really good for us, because it gives us haste on all of our Granite. So we don't have to worry about the Scraptank problem like we had last turn, where it just dies. Really hoping our opponent plays some units somewhere. Sure. Not a big deal. We're gonna Gearcruncher and smash. It's a lot of damage. Clank, clank, thief. Think they can hear us. Annihilate the Gearcruncher, lightning strike it. Okay. Not super surprised that's happening. If they don't have a board wipe, we're still doing pretty good. Feel like this is another one, though. Yep. Like, there's a reason why they're emoting at us. It's because they're super excited. We do just get to kill that, though. Ooh. Oh, actually we don't, because we're 1 power short. That's okay, we'll just play assembly line and attack. We could actually sacrifice one to make one, as funny as that is. No real point in doing it, but it's a thing we can do. Stonescar Scrapper will get us a lot of value, so I'm waiting on it.
This ends now.
Harsh Rule 3 Grenadin. Woof. Alright. I'm pretty okay with that. Do they have the way to kill that? No. Devour is an interesting one. I kind of like it still. Opponent has a lot of gas. I'm gonna sacrifice one now because if we've got power, I kind of want to play it. Ooh, I don't know that I want to give them Knight, but sure. Sure. Unfortunate that they get the Scrapper. I could have done that differently. We still have a lot of things to draw, though. Like, for example, Scraptank is a pretty good one. Put them to 1. And Nightfall. Boom! Got him! This deck is so good. I can't believe I haven't been playing this for a while. This deck is just amazing fun. There's so many little tips and tricks that you can do with it, especially with like Scrap Heap and stuff like that, where you give your Grenadins haste, and then you can sacrifice Grenadins to pump up your Scraptanks, and all kinds of like weird and wild lines to take to win the game. I just love this deck. I need to play it more. I hope everybody's enjoying this half as much as I am. And wow, this hand is great. But this is just the best deck. I love this deck. Maybe not this exact version with the Dizos and stuff, but just the Grenadin sacrifice deck in general is so good. It's so much fun. I haven't played it in a while either, so this is just a blast. Ooh. I mean, I want Grenadin. I've got Quarry. The big thing is, like, can I find a Combustion cell with this Quarry? Or a Devour? I think I have to bottom it, just blind, not knowing. Ooh, TJP. Yeah, that might have been a good idea. So we're gonna Grenadin Drone, and then I think just play Seed of Chaos. Because this will almost certainly be an undepleted power source next turn. Is this Temporal? This might be Temporal Control. I haven't seen that in a while, but I saw one instance of it on stream a little while back, but it's been pretty rare for me. I'm very glad that we decided to bottom that. Another assembly line, Vara's Favor. Vara's Favor actually seems good, because we're a little low on power right now. I'll play Grenadin Drone. They might wipe this out with a Hailstorm, but we saw from that last game, Hailstorm and Harsh Rules are not great for us, but we can recover surprisingly well from a lot of that stuff. Not as big of a deal as it would be in a lot of decks. It seems like it would because we flood the board with a ton of things, but we also just use our Void really, really well. All of these things make our Gearcruncher better in the Void. So if they wipe the board, we can just play out another 5 creatures. Also, things like Sparkcatcher make it really awkward to wipe the board because you end up with like another 3 Grenadin anyways. Yep, there's the Hailstorm. These also help a lot, like Assembly Line Sparkcatcher, sorry, Scrap Heap, and like, we're gonna Assembly Line Sparkcatcher here. Now that these have charge, it makes it a lot more awkward for them. Oh, do they have the Backlash? Disjunction to kill the attachment. Okay, yeah, they're definitely temporal control. That's unfortunate. Harsh Rule? I think we've got a really good matchup against Temporal, but we'll see. Ooh, I would like Combustion Cell. Thank you. Oh no, Desert Marshal is definitely the worst thing we could have seen here. Because now I should have kept this in hand. I was thinking that if they wipe the board, we've got Sparkcatcher still. But now they'll wipe the board and we won't be able to sacrifice for Gearcruncher. Because that's the big thing that we need to do. Oh. Okay. Huh. So I'm going to sacrifice. We're also going to play another Combustion Cell and sacrifice again. Because these are all free. We're just going to get them back anyways. They go into the Void, but then Gearcruncher makes another copy of them. And it means that we get the second Combustion Cell, so we're a little bit safer from Disjunction. And if we needed to get extra power another turn and play 2, we can definitely do that. Okay, opponents at 11. They Celestial Omen for... I mean, maybe they can get Lightning Storm. Maybe they have a power in Lightning Storm and get us. Certainly possible. If they're going for something like Harsh Rule, they just die, right? Yeah. We have enough damage that they have to wipe out multiple things here. Alright. Listen, we don't know that they've got Lightning Strike or something, so... this is the right thing to do.
The rebels are aiming high. Best not let them down.
Seems pretty good. But where did you go? Oh, only like 30 damage. Not the best. Again, honestly, not even close to the best Kaleb I've ever had. This deck is so much fun. Oh, I hope that you enjoyed it all as much as I did. The few things that you can make for changes. Dizo was surprisingly decent. I thought that it was pretty solid in this deck. But if you want to make any changes, you want it to make it even more competitive, or if you're just like, you don't have enough Kalebs or things like that, other options that I've found to be good are, I wouldn't mind adding another Kaleb, maybe taking out Scrap Heap or Dizo. You could take out the Kaleb and put in Oblivion Spike, because Oblivion Spike can just be like the random burst of power, much like Kaleb is. So Kaleb is like a good way to recover a board when they might have stalled out and they've got like a, say you're playing, I don't know, like a Combustion deck and they've got a bunch of Great Parliaments or something, so they've got a bunch of flyers and they're just stalling you where you can't really get your 1/1s through. Kaleb makes all of them bigger and you can maybe bust through in a single turn. Or you can do an explosive turn of damage where you, say, like, play a... You've got Scrap Heap and you play Assembly Line, Kaleb, and just smash for a bunch. Or even just Kaleb on his own can finish a game, where your opponent's at 10, you play Kaleb, it gets a big weapon, boom, you kill them. Oblivion Spike is kind of the same thing, where they'll Harsh Rule, wipe your board, and then you just go, okay, that's fine, I Oblivion Spike, hit you for 15. So you can do things like that really, really quickly, and it turns around a lot of those games. So I do like Oblivion Spike as just like a random burst of power. You can certainly try things like I've seen Kalis be in this deck, so Bloodright Kalis is okay. I'm not as big on it in this deck. There's no way to buy the Kalis back, but it's still pretty sweet. You have to have a lot of units for it to be better than Oblivion Spike, which kind of, for me, ruins the whole point of having the Oblivion Spike. But because the Oblivion Spike, what you do is they wipe the board, you don't have anything, and then you just suddenly kill them. So it's good against control decks. Something like Bloodright Kalis, not as good because of the simple fact that you have to have a board and then you remove your own board. Still not bad, but those are some options that you can certainly mess around with. And so like the number of Dizos, the number of Kalebs, the number of Scrap Heaps and stuff you can kind of mess with. I definitely like one of Scrap Heap and at least one Kaleb, but like I said, if you don't have them, there are some options to replace them with some of these other cards, and you can still have a really good list. Absolutely love this list, though. I highly recommend it. If you like this style of kind of a control deck that can also play really fast aggressive cards, then you really enjoy this. Like, sometimes you just go Grenadin Drone, Sparkcatcher, Quarry, hit a Scraptank, and then Scraptank on turn 4 and just start smashing them to death. And they can't do anything about that sometimes. So this deck does a lot of really cool things. I highly recommend it. It's got a ton of play in it, and it's super, super fun. It does some really wacky stuff, like the big Calebs and the big Gearcrunchers, and it's such a blast. So I hope everybody had fun with me this week. And of course, as always at the end, I'd like to say, if you can, please like and subscribe to videos and stuff. I hate always asking, but it's a good thing for me to ask for. It does really help out a lot. And if you can check out my Patreon and help me out there, that'd be really awesome too. It's in the link at the end of the video and also in the description. And I have a wonderful sponsor, inkgaming.com. So inkgaming.com is a place to get a bunch of really cool custom playmats and gaming gear, mouse pads, things like that. They've got wonderful art from just tons and tons of artists in their store, including some stuff that we've had done specifically for our channel. So you can find like some Elder Dragon Hoedown gear in our channel store page, as well as some of my own art because I am a photographer. And we have a code that you can use on any store in Ink Gaming, which is Ilyon12 to get 12% off your order. So I hope that you'll enjoy checking that out, and I'll see you next week.